We got some movie news to talk about. So this last week, we finally found out the storyline they're going with the new God of War show on Amazon. And the route they went, I was kind of suspecting, but Amazon has officially announced they're going to adapt the Norse storyline for God of War, starting with the video game from 2018. Now, when I heard this, there's a few seconds where I was really frustrated because one, I love just Greek mythology. I like the gods. I want more stories about them. And, seeing a story where Kratos goes and kills all these gods sounds pretty awesome. But that's just the thing. There's not really any depth besides he's just killing gods. So it seems like the showrunners know what they're doing because I don't think anyone can deny the first 3 God of War movies set in the Greek times are awesome. Some of the best video games ever. I mean, Kratos is rage personified in these games. But video games to live action adaptation are already hard enough as it is. And then when you take the first 3 God of War games and take away the gameplay, take away just the thrill of the video game, you're not left with much. So although at first I was frustrated, within seconds I'm like, all right, that's a good choice. Now, I haven't played the new God of War games, but I've watched all the cutscenes. I love the story, and there's so much more depth to God of War from 2018 and its sequel, God of War Ragnarok. Kratos is older, it's set 150 years after the other video games, and it gives us a much more interesting character. He also has his son Atreus, but there's a lot more to go off of, a lot deeper aspects, so Amazon knows what it's doing. And the cool thing is, I bet they'll have flashbacks to when Kratos is massacring Zeus and Hercules and all the other Greek gods. My hope is we still get our fill. Now, for all my weebs out there, I got some news in the anime world. I still remember the first time I was called a weeb, and it's because I liked Avatar: The Last Airbender. That's not even what I'd consider anime, people. Wasn't made in Japan. I get the argument, anime means animation, but when you hear anime, we're not thinking of SpongeBob. We're all thinking of Japanese anime. Anyways, though, I got good news for Naruto fans. Apparently, the next arc of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, is changing to a seasonal anime. Back in the day, we had our shonen anime, Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, Bleach, One Piece, and these had hundreds to thousands of episodes. One Piece, I think, is at 1,200 now. And this worked for the time, but we're living in an era where budgets are higher, anime looks better. I mean, look at Demon Slayer, look at Jujutsu Kaisen. Well, now Boruto is going to be joining this. After having their first arc go 300-something episodes and a lot of filler and low-quality animation a lot of the time, it seems they're finally catching up with what we all want. We're going to have a lot less episodes, better animation, and it's set a few years after the ending of Boruto, and I never got past the first 60 episodes of Boruto just because so much filler, and it's hard to skip the filler because they intertwine it with actual canon content, which is frustrating. But I'm stoked for this. I might catch up just for the fact that Boruto is going to try to be on par with shows like Jujutsu Kaisen, Chainsaw Man, Demon Slayer. I have high hopes. What do you think, though? Do you think it's going to be just less episodes, but same animation, low quality? I sure hope not. And in other anime news, one of my favorite franchises of all time, Dragon Ball, has got some news for us. This coming spring, it will have been 8 years since Dragon Ball Super stopped airing. Since then, we've gotten 2 movies, Dragon Ball Super Broly and Dragon Ball Super Superhero. But the manga's kept going. We have a lot of arcs there, but no show. Well, the wait is finally over because they have announced the next arc, and they're adapting the Galactic Patrol arc from the manga. We do not know much more than that. This was confirmed at the Gengita Matsuri conference, and it came with a short tease showing Goku and Vegeta standing next to each other with the Galactic Patrol logos behind them. Apparently they have some new designs, but the thing we don't know is this could be a new season, new series, or is it just going to be a movie? I love Dragon Ball, but I do hope the anime gets a little more mature. I've read some of the manga. The manga seems more mature, but Dragon Ball Super, I feel like they toned it down so 8-year-olds could watch it. Now don't get me wrong, I don't mind the comedy, don't mind the humor, that's what makes Dragon Ball amazing. But Dragon Ball Z, remember when Piccolo shot a hole through Goku and Raditz? Remember when Frieza gouged Krillin with his horns and then blew him up later? Remember when Boo was turning people into chocolate and eating them, and then other people he'd just suffocate with his Boo material? These are things I want. I want to see the violent side. I mean, Demon Slayer is funny. It's violent. Same with Jujutsu Kaisen. Even One Piece is getting more violent. So, I just want Dragon Ball back to what Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z were. Have some stakes, have some blood. In the world of horror, A24 has secured the rights to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise. But here's the interesting thing. We're not getting a movie right off the bat. We're getting a series, which will then be followed by a movie. Apparently, J.T. Malner will be writing the series. All I know that he's done is The Long Walk by Stephen King. Really enjoyed that movie, so I have hopes. And then this one's interesting. Glen Powell, the stud from Top Gun Maverick, kind of looks like me, but shorter hair. He will be producing this series. Supposedly he won't be acting in the series or the movie, but guess he's getting into the producing world. Or he's just a big fan of bad guys that saw people up. I don't know. But on the subject, this is what JT Malner had to say. I've said publicly that I'm not interested in remaking perfect films, and the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a perfect film. Malner said in a statement, Tobe Hooper, and Kim Henkel created something bold, transgressive, and truly seminal that holds up even today as the gold standard of horror. I haven't watched it, guys. I need to go watch the first original film. When the opportunity for a long-form exploration into this world arose, I saw it as a fresh way in, as well as a way to honor the existing folklore. I can't imagine better partners for this approach than A24. This is truly an honor. Sounds like they're being smart with it, not just doing the basic reboot, doing the same things, but honoring the original by fleshing it out more as a series. As for other types of monsters, we are getting Monarch Season 2. Which reminds me, I still have 2 episodes left of Season 1 that I never finished 2 years ago. Gotta get on that. This is releasing February 27th and will mostly be on Skull Island. They're gonna do the same thing again where Kurt Russell and Wyatt Russell play the same character but 50 years apart, which is pretty cool. You know, father and son acting together. One day, Father, you and I will act together. Except my dad and I look nothing alike because technically I'm adopted. But our spirits are alike, Father. It can still happen. Anyways, this is gonna be featuring Godzilla, of course, King Kong, which they're saying maybe they have a fight or team up, which I don't know how I feel about that because I guess it could make sense if they fought in the past or something and they're coming back. But Kong was tiny in the past and definitely would not have stood a chance. So not sure about those fan theories. But they're introducing a new villain known as Titan X. Don't know much about him, but I'm excited to see what they have. This is a good time to be a Godzilla fan. Monarch Season 2. We're getting a new Godzilla film, the sequel to -1 this year, Godzilla -0. And I think 2027 is when we're getting Godzilla X Kong Supernova. And finally, a few weeks ago, we got news about Incredibles 3. I heard rumors it was going to be starting soon, but apparently they've officially started production on the movie, which makes sense. Incredibles 2 made $1.2 billion. Disney wants that cash. I'm not upset about it. I love the Incredibles movies. I will say the first to me is way better than the second. I haven't seen the second since theaters, and honestly, I don't remember much about it. So I can just say the first, I think, is much more incredible. That's funny. That was good. So since I just found out about this, I'm not as familiar. But what's crazy is it's already been 8 years since Incredibles 2 came out. What the heck? You ever notice when you're a kid, 10 years goes by, 8 to 18, it feels like a whole lifetime. But the past 8 years for me, 23 to 31, feels like nothing almost. This is interesting too. I didn't realize the first 2 Incredibles were directed by Brad Bird, who also made Ratatouille and The Iron Giant. Iron Giant, by the way, what the heck? That movie deserves so much more love, so much more money. It lost so much at the box office. Apparently, though, Brad voices fashion designer to the heroes Edna Mode. I had no idea. But we're getting a new director for this one. It is Peter Sohn. He's the one that did Elemental. Alright, Elemental was alright. We're getting Holly Hunter back as our voice for Mrs. Incredible. Brad, forgot his last name, for Mr. Incredible. Craig T. Nelson, Samuel L. Jackson, Sarah Vowell are all coming back. Looks like The Incredibles is coming out in 2028. I just hope it's better than the second one. That's all I've got for today, but could you help me out by please commenting anything I may have missed? Big movie news. I can't be on top of everything, guys. I got a full-time job, a different YouTube channel. Cut a guy some slack. And if you liked what you saw here today, stick around. Next time we might just be in the bathroom.